Well, hello, everybody. This is Judy. You are listening to Coffee with Judy. I want to talk to you guys about quality time. But before we do that, let's get our coffee ready. I have a little espresso here. Today I have an espresso. I needed that energy, so I took some espresso. So I'm going to give you guys time to get your coffee together, sit down and relax, get a blanket, get comfy, because we got a lot to talk about. So before I got this together, what to talk about with you guys today, I did my research and I asked a few friends and people that I know about the subject. And they were asking me, why are you researching this? And I said, because I want to give my audience, my people, the truth. I want them to understand that everybody has a different perspective of quality time. But what I come to realize as I was doing my research, everybody had different ideas. And of course, it meant different to them, quality time. But we all agreed to disagree. At the same time, it comes down to the conclusion that we have no time to waste. We have to make quality time important in our lives the way life is living today. Not only with the pandemic, with the situation, with people not respecting each other because they come from different countries, their skin color is different, their religion is different, different sexes or orientation of sex, etc. And people are not loving and respecting each other and not realizing that there's no time for this nonsense. You have to have quality time with the people that you love. It's so important. But I was explaining to them when I was a girl, if I would have had a cell phone, my father would have made me eat it. Because I'm telling you, sometimes I see these young kids today and all they do is their face is imprinted in the cell phone. You go to restaurants and you see a family of 6. There's 4 kids and 2 adults. Even the adults are with the cell phone imprinted in their face. And then you got the little ones either coloring something or having their own cell phones that I just don't understand why you need a cell phone at 8 years old and 6 years old. But this is what you see. This is the supposedly new norm in life. So I'm telling my friends I wanted their opinion of what they thought about quality time. Well, one of the things that I was explaining to them when I was growing up, quality time for us especially was on a Friday because my father worked 2 jobs because when I was a child, I was sick and my mother had to take me to a lot of appointments. So my dad worked 2 jobs so she didn't have to work and she would take me to the appointments and my oldest brother stayed with my aunt. But on Friday was family day. So my father made a point of it. No matter how tired he was, we were going to do something exciting and important as a family. So that my mom would dress me up with these cute little dresses that I got to say, I look like a little princess. And these cute, flurry dresses all over the place and my cute little sandals or shoes. And my brother would dress up in his nice shorts and shirt. And we would go on our way after school. We would go to Sears. And at Sears, my father would change his check there. But he did it on purpose because he would give us a little something so we can buy our either peanuts or popcorn and whatever we wanted. So at that time, that was a big thing for us. Man, I'm going to buy my own peanuts and I'm going to buy my own popcorn because that was the beginning of our fun as a family. Then we would go to a park, Bayfront Park in Miami. And we would go to this park. And in Spanish, it's called El Parque de las Palomas. It's the Pigeons Park. And we would go there and we would do a picnic. And we would spend time and we would go my brother would use his kite and I would be running around with my dad. And mind you, they were not in flip-flops and we were in dress clothes. But this is the way we did it. And that was our quality time. And they would ask us how was school, and we would ask Dad how was work. My dad would ask my mom what did the doctor say, and we would have our family conversation, etc. But the coolest thing, and you guys might laugh at this, but our favorite restaurant on a Friday was Burger King. The King was on. I'm telling you, we would go to Burger King. You tell a kid today, Friday night, family quality time is Burger King, they'll look at you like you're crazy. What? Burger King? I want to go to a real expensive restaurant. I want to go where you're going to spend money on me. Or I want to go to the store where you can buy me the best cell phone, or you can buy me the best computer, the best PlayStation, the best this and the best that. Or give me $50, meet me at the corner, and I'll go shopping because I don't want to really hang out with my parents. And it's so sad. Because how can you have quality time when your mother gives you actually $50? I was being nice. They really be asking for 100 and more. And you just walk away and you hang out at the mall by yourself, or you meet a friend there and you got your parents in the corner eating an ice cream waiting for you to have fun, but you're not having quality time with the kids. And I always said when I was growing up, I'm going to make quality time important with my children. And I was telling my friends this. I remember that with my boys, I would spend individual quality time. I would spend individual quality time with Marcus. I would spend individual quality time with Robert Mitchell and Jeremy. And I would do it together or individually. But I made sure that I would have that time with them. Why? Because I didn't want them to become adults and do what they see their friends do. And they even say it today. They appreciate it. They appreciate it. One of them sometimes comes home from work and he'll sit there, Ma, I want to talk to you about what happened today. He's a grown man, but he wants to tell his mother what's going on in his life. Because I made sure we were going to have a communication that even if I didn't agree with his decisions or agree with his thoughts or agree with things that he was doing, he was able to still come to me and have that time to discuss, and maybe I can guide him the right way. You know, my parents, when I was a kid, would always look at me, and if something was wrong, they knew. They immediately knew, and they would ask me. Now, remember, my parents come old school, where there was things that was not discussed that today I said I wish we would have discussed it. But they were only raising me the best that they could and the way they were taught. But I was the kind of mother that I decided I'm going to switch my role. I'm going to make it different because the world is changing. The world is not the same as when I was growing up or my parents were growing up. So I needed to have that time with my kids. You know, I didn't look at it because I was a single mother. Oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time for my children because I got to work and I got to cook and I got to clean. No, I made time. I made sure I made time because I realized they have me. Yes, they do have their father, but they're not living in the same home with their father. I'm living in the same home with my children. So they need to see that interaction till they spend time with him and they have their own interaction. But they needed to have that with me. And I made it a priority. Sometimes it saddens me for me to see a lot of these young mothers today where when the kid says, you know, Mom, I don't know how to do this homework. Well, call your aunt or your uncle, somebody. I don't know what to do. But did you take the time to see? You might know. But they don't want to take the time. Because if they say, well, you know what, I really don't know, but let's call. Let's call your uncle or your aunt to see how we can solve this problem is a different story. Because it's not the message, it's how you're giving them the message. You're making them feel that they're not important. But they should always be important. They should always be a time that you can take for them. You should always let them know how important they are. So I'm discussing this with my friends. So we talked about quality time with friends. There's a limit to everything. If you're in a relationship or you're married and you once in a while want to go out shopping or having dinner or whatever it is that friends do, you let your husband know. Listen, I will be doing this from this time to that time. That's my me time. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it every other day, there's an issue there. There's a problem there. Because you know what? You need to be attending. There's a Spanish saying, you need to attend your store before somebody else attend your store. And you can have quality time with your friends, but you decided you were going to be married. You decided on that relationship. So there's certain priorities that are more important. Your family needs you. But you also need to have a life to be able to go shopping or maybe on a cruise once or twice a year with your friends and remember your childhood and have innocent fun. It's okay. But you always have to remember your place. So we discussed that. We discussed quality time with family members. You know that sometimes you have family members who will destroy your relationship because they're so needy and they don't respect your time and they don't respect your relationship and they don't respect nothing that has to do with anything else in your life but whatever has to do with them and you. That's what they respect. And sometimes you have to check them and tell them it's on you. Your quality time with them is important as well, but it has to be limited. You have to set limits to the other loved ones to let them know, I can come over Saturday, but I'm not coming over every Saturday because my children has baseball or volleyball or football or ballet or skating, whatever your children are involved in, or you and your husband have plans. There's another life besides the immediate family. So you have to sometimes check your family. So I'm going to drink a little bit of coffee. Y'all get y'all coffee because, this coffee smells so good. Because I just want to tell you, within the group that I was asking, there was 2 or 3 of us. One of them says to me, what do you think about me giving quality time to a very good friend that I used to date in the past? And I went, you used to date in the past? Yeah, it's a good friend. They live out of town and sometimes they give me a call and, I talk to him because I feel so bad. He's gone through so many things in life and, he needs a friend. Okay. You're married, right? Yes. I said, does your husband know that you're giving quality time to this man? Well, I don't know if he would agree or not, but I really haven't told him because I really don't spend a lot of time, talking on the phone. And I said, no. You're asking for Pandora box to open and you're going to have a big chaos in your life. Listen, my pastor happens to be a psychologist and he was telling a story how dangerous it is for you to have friends outside of the marriage. If you're a woman and you have a male friend, he needs to be friends with your husband. And he needs to be your acquaintance. And when you're a woman and it's vice versa, you guys have to be very careful with that. Why? Because imagine this scenario. You're at your job. Your friend calls you. I'm having a situation with, the person I'm living with, whatever, or I used to live with them, whatever the case may be. And they keep calling you and they start getting emotionally attached to you. Indirectly, you're giving him a message. You can count on me 24/7. When he shouldn't count on you 24/7 because you have a husband and children and responsibilities. So you have to be very careful. That's a fine line that you have to be very careful with. And the same thing with a man. He's at work and the secretary's having problems with her husband. And she depends on the boss. And the boss is such a nice guy. Hey, why don't we have lunch together? And before you know, you start having a relationship. And it doesn't have to be a physical relationship, but it's an emotional relationship. Because you're depending on this person to make you feel better because you're having issues at home. If you have a problem with your husband, you need to talk to your husband about it. If you have a problem with your wife, you need to talk to your wife about it. Don't bring in that third party because you just destroyed your marriage. Because what you start to develop is an emotional relationship that is much more dangerous than even starting a physical relationship. Because any other relationship beside your own is bad. But when you start getting the emotional one, it leads you to other things. And you need to be very careful, very mindful of your relationship and respectful. If he needs to unload, well, introduce him to your husband. Why don't you talk to another man? If she needs to unload, well, speak to my wife. She can help you. Listen, I'm here to tell you, friendship are a fine line when it's the opposite sex. You need to be careful with that. Because you can catch yourself starting to say things about your own marriage to that person because you start to feel so comfortable. So look at the scenario. The boss is helping the secretary because the secretary's having problems. The boss starts to think about his own problems. Now he's telling her his problems. The woman has a friend out of town. He's telling her his problems. Now she's starting to tell him, oh, well, I got the same problem with my husband. And what do you think that leads to? A relationship. Starting off just friends talking. There has to be a fine line. So when I said this to this person, that this individual I was talking to, their eyes opened and said to me, you know what? You're right. I didn't realize I was disrespecting my marriage, thinking I was helping a friend, but I'm digging myself in a hole. And I said, absolutely. Quality time does not mean you step out of your range, out of your area, out of your marriage to give quality time to somebody that can damage your marriage. That's not what I'm saying. And quality time is very important, but you need to be careful. So it was interesting because we started to talk about our childhood. We started to talk about friends, how we are with our parents, how we are with our siblings, how we need to be with people we work with. But when we ended up in that particular conversation, pops out another person and says, you know what? I have to confess to you guys, that's the way I messed up my first marriage. And I made a decision. I will not make that second mistake again. I thought I was helping an old girlfriend. And my wife got jealous and got pissed off. And I got mad at my wife because I thought she was being unfair. But you know what the truth is? I messed up. I had no business giving time to my ex-girlfriend about her issues with her new man. Because what happened was we kept calling each other. And we ended up emotionally having an attachment where it lead to other things and ended up messing up my marriage. Now I'm married again and I'm happy because I'm giving my wife the quality time that she deserves. Anybody else need to go get a psychologist. And we all started to laugh. But getting back to the seriousness of quality time, I asked myself today, there's so many families being broken, not only relationships, families being broken. You know why a lot of families now are going crazy in the middle of pandemic time? And they can't stand each other and they get on each other's nerves? Because they never had quality time. They never spent so much time together. Now, mind you, yes, there's times that I would like to go be with a friend and go shopping and go to dinner or go to the movies with other people besides my children. And I'm sure my children don't want to always be with their mom. But in the time of this pandemic, we haven't had an issue because we're used to saying, it is what it is. So we spend time together. And friends, I just want you to know that that's what quality time is. Take advantage of the time that you have with the people that you love, because they're here today and you don't know tomorrow. A lot of these families have lost families. They had no idea that they were going to be gone. Had to drink that coffee again because I meant to tell you guys. In this time of quality time that I'm talking about, I just thought of something. I've had friends that I've been connecting with that I haven't talked to in a while. And I'm super excited about that. Because, sometimes you love people and you don't see them a long time, but the love doesn't change. The care doesn't change. And then you reconnect again. That is so awesome. So I'm going to tell you guys to do a little something. Find that person that you haven't talked to in a long time. That family member that you haven't said, you know what? All this time I've been thinking about you because you're important to me. And I would like to take a day for you and I to see each other and talk in person. And if they're far away, FaceTime them. Don't text them. Please don't text nobody. Call them. Have FaceTime. Since you can't be together because you don't live in the same state, have FaceTime or talk to them on the phone. Take time with them. But don't text nobody because I personally don't feel that texting somebody is quality time. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I can't wait for our next podcast together. Take care. This coffee was really good today. Might have me a little more. But before I do that, I just want you guys to tell somebody how much you care, how much you miss them, and wish them the best. Take care. Coffee with Judy.